morning.
Good morning po.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Okay. Since ito ang last meeting natin for this year kasi babalik na tayo kailan ba tayo babalik? January sa class ko January 4 na yung balik natin. So this will be the last meeting for this year. So I hope na makinig kayong lahat at didiscuss natin ngayon ay all about graphic designing. Okay? Last time kasi didiscuss natin is web designing. Yun muna inuna ko para at least if you are, 'di ba, create ka ng isang website, 'di ba, or creating a web page. Syempre, kasama na dito yung graphic designing. Kaya very interesting 'to, saka maraming tao maraming gumagawa nito dahil syempre cellphone na nga lang, 'di ba, nakakapaggawa na sila ng design, 'di ba? Do you remember yung PixArt, 'di ba? Maraming taong nang humaling doon, and bukod doon, syempre, yung gusto mo nagpapagawa ng mga gusto nila, digital art, ganyan. Pero syempre, hindi lang naman natatapos yun doon. Pati din syempre, kapag ka sa web design o kaya sa gumagawa kayo ng layout, syempre, napaka-importante din ng mga components when it comes sa web page nyo, diba? Dahil discuss natin last time yon. Tapos, ito, i-complement natin para at least maintindihan nyo ano ba yung nakikita natin sa labas, okay? Or nakikita natin sa mga paligid natin. Okay. So what is graphic design, by the way? It is a form of visual communication that uses words and images to express an idea or send a message. Usually, 'di ba, ang the proper way to communicate is ito, yung nag-uusap tayo verbally, 'di ba? Pero meron din tayong tinatawag na non-verbal, 'di ba, na with the use of this graphical representation, yung mga pictures, 'di ba? Ito kino-complement sa isang graphic design, sa isang banner, sa isang tarpaulin, sa isang kung saan man natin makikita siya, 'di ba? That's the way to more communicate it with more interaction, 'di ba? Graphic design is used for various purpose. Will we give you an example? Number 1, 'di ba? As you can see, we are using traffic signs, 'di ba? Gumamit din ng graphic designing, 'di ba? For example, yung 40 na sign dyan, 'di ba? It states that it is maximum lang is 40 kilometers per hour. That makes more people na maintindihan. Ito yung traffic sign natin. Another thing, kapag ka nasa kalsada tayo, 'di ba? Lalo na pag nasa expressway, 'di ba? Mas marami tayong nakikitang mga signages, mga traffic signs kasi we have to abide on the rules. Pag nakita na natin yon, definitely susundin po natin yon. At lalo na kung may iba dito na may driver's license or student license pa lang, na dapat pa lang bago ka makapasa doon na magkaroon ka ng driver's license, dapat alam mo itong mga bagay na to. Okay? Of course, ano ba ang tendency niyan? Usually, 'di ba, white, red, blue, yellow and black, 'di ba? Pagka mga caution, 'di ba, yung mga ano natin. Okay? Next naman itong Coke. Okay? Ano ba yung branding ng Coke? 'Di ba? Ang branding ng Coke is red and white, 'di ba? The simple word, the Coca-Cola, 'di ba? Na mas dahil sa logo pa lang, alam na ng mga tao pag sinabi Coca-Cola, ay Coke to, okay? So pagka red and white to, pag nakita niyo na to, 'di ba? Lalo na sa grocery, 'di ba, pag nakita, ay Coke to, 'di ba? Na mas maiintindihan ng tao dahil syempre, it's been a century ang Coca-Cola. Okay? Next, ito namang KilpCam. So, lahat naman 'yan ito panahon pa ng mga high school kayo, okay? Itong poster na to. Pero ano ba ang representation ng KilpCam na to? So, it was in the British government, 'di ba, that raised the morale of the population during World War II. Okay? Which is red and white. Same din sa Coke, no? So makikita natin dito, napakasimple lang pero it carries a message doon sa mga tao na 'yan. And syempre, yung typeface o yung font na 'yan, meron na rin yan sa internet na pwede nyo i-download, na which is na pwede nyo magamit for your designing. Okay? Now, let's go to the raster versus vector. Okay? Kung mapapansin nyo, diba, na sinasabi na, ay, ba't ang labo naman ng picture ko? O bakit pixelated yan? Diba? So, there is a similarities between the raster graphics and the vector graphics. As you can see in the picture, diba, ito, pagka-zoom natin siya, clear, parang crispy yung quality niya, definitely it is a vector. But then kapag isa naman zoom, nakikita nyo hindi na mabasa, that's what we call the raster, or the simply called as the bitmap before. Diba? Kung naka-encounter na kayo dati, pero hindi na ata, yung mga naka-encounter pa ng XP dito, yung mga bitmap nyo sa Paint, okay? Best Paint. Diba? Yung mga nag-screenshot kayo, kung gumawa kayo, pagka stretch out na yan, so sumasabog yung pixels. That's what we call yung bitmap, but now considered as a raster graphic. Now, let's go to the vector. A vector, yan, a vector. So makikita niyo yung vector, malinaw, malinis, 'di ba? Kumbaga plain in color. It contains points, lines, and shapes. Usually, ganun ang mga vector. Okay? Very precise when it comes to the sides. A vector retains a quality even you zoom it out. Okay, vector are created mathematically or geographic formula. The elements created manipulated numerically. So, kumbaga, gumawa ka ng isang object or isang design na good for vector. Okay? Once you zoom in, okay, nandun pa rin yung smooth edges niya, yung crispiness ng edges niya. Okay. Paano yon? Of course, it will be done on the vector application software. Okay? Sa computer na makakapag-edit ka ng mga shapes ng designs. Okay? Kumbaga, ito, pagka in-export mo, syempre, definitely, sa vector kasi, gumawa ka ng vector, pero pag sinave mo na siya as image, vector yung content, pero it will be considered now as a raster. Why? Kasi syempre, nag-JPEG na tayo. Usually, sa mga vector, nag-PNG for transparent, na disparate na logo para at least for the syempre for the branding. So doon yung mga purpose ng mga vector. At the same time yung pagiging malinis when it comes to the vector. Now, raster. Pag say raster, it's an image that composed of grid dots. Kung makikita niyo yung mga dots, yung mga square, that's what we call pixels. Once we zoom in, nag-iiba siya ng kulay at nakikita natin sumasabog na yung kulay niya. For example, this photo that contains 200 by 200 pixels. So, okay? So, therefore, pag zoom natin yan by 100 by 100, medyo blurred na siya. And then, zoom pa natin yan na 10 by 10 pixels, definitely, yan na po ang kalalabasan niya. Hindi sumabog na yung kulay niya. Kumbaga, na-zoom siya. Now, a group of pixels can appear to form an image. Most of the pictures that see the internet are raster image. Okay. So, lahat po ng pictures, okay, kahit na vector na siya, definitely, pag na-export siya, yung mga pictures natin, yung mga memories natin, even yung mga search natin, is definitely a raster image. Okay. How can be done? Siyempre, mga nagtitake tayo ng photos from the phone, di ba? Lahat po
Pagka hindi kaya ng phone, di ba, sir? Kunyari, yung ano niya, megapixel, mga 16 lang.
Okay, so sa camera kasi, di ba, pag-usapan natin yung camera niya. Yung 16 megapixels, those millions of pixels kasi yan, okay? 16 megapixels, 20, 8 megapixels. Syempre, pag mababa yung megapixels, yung kaya lang niya na sa resolution ng isang picture is maliit lang. Pagka malaki yung ano natin, yung sa camera natin, yung specs ng camera natin, yung megapixels natin, for example, 13, actually 13 mababa na siya sa ngayon, okay? Mga 16, 48. Diba 48 pero na 104, which is yung Xiaomi and Huawei, okay? Samsung, okay?
108.
They are zoom 10 times. Naalala ko yung Huawei na Mate.
Sa Huawei.
Huawei na nandun ka lang sa gilid ng MOA, pero kaya mo mapa-zoom hanggang dun sino yung nasa loob ng MOA ay. Imagine mo yun, meron pang meme nun, okay? So, medyo lang nakita yun na konti. So, image yun. So, mas mataas kasi yung megapixels na isang camera, definitely, yung image ng quality or the size, kumbaga, it will be represented by size, image size. We'll be discuss it later on. So, pagka mas malaki yung image size, for example, is pang 14 megapixel, it's related na lang to sa DSLR. So, definitely, pag zoom mo pa yan, medyo crispy pa. Pero pag sobrang zoom mo na yan, nakikita mo na yung essence ng isang pixel. But definitely, in concludes, still a raster image. Okay? So, paano pa natin so gusto natin, sir, gusto ko edit to, tanggalin yung pimples, ganyan. Gusto mong i-manipulate. So, it will be use a image processing software or application for that. But later on, we'll be discussed with that. So, basically, on camera, 'di ba? Sa camera kasi, masabi ko nga, mas mataas, mas maganda yung image size and malalaman niyo yung density nun. Now, let's go to lossy and lossless. Okay? Medyo technical na to, so more on part of designing. So, image formats we can understand those without knowing the difference between lossy and lossless. Okay? Compression is the method reducing file size or number of bits that is composed of. Lossless compression retains all the original data while lossy compression removes some of the data, make it file smaller. Ganito lang yan. Sa SLR kasi, meron tayong tinatawag na JPEG at meron din tayong tinatawag na RAW file. Okay, so yung mga lossless file, example yan ng mga, yung RAW file is yung mga RAW images, example ng mga lossless, ba tawag dito? Lossless compression. Okay? Bakit? Kasi kumbaga pagka inopen natin sa Photoshop yan, we can manipulate the color, the white balance, the hue, saturation. Yun yung natin. Kumbaga image that's what we call image manipulation. Kumbaga nagchi-change sa color, di mga dapat natin. Wala pa doon yung yung image editing na ay, binago ko yung pimples, inayos yung buhok, wala pa yon. Kumbaga, ito, if it comes to pag-aayos ng kulay, okay? Sa quality, bago mo siya ma-export as an image. Kumbaga, kahit i-zoom mo siya, medyo okay pa yung quality niya. Pero kapag lost na, ibig sabihin, na yan, filter na yan, kumbaga, automatically, parang sa camera yan, hindi mo siya ma-edit. Kumbaga, kung ano yung kinuha mo sa camera mo by the preference of manual yan or automatic man yung mode mo, definitely yun na yung output mo. While dito kasi sa lossless, sa mga raw images, of course, ma-edit pa yon. Okay, yung sa kulay, 'di ba? Which can be edited by Photoshop or Adobe Lightroom. Okay? So, yan yung pagkakaiba nila. So, ito kasi, may mga cellphone ngayon na di ko alam kung saang cellphone or whether Samsung, Huawei at lang naman Xiaomi or Oppo or Realme or Vivo, lahat ng ganito may mga feature na pwede na parang raw file. Okay? Pero
usually sir sa mga flagship po.
Yung mga flagship phones. But usually, ang meron pa lang na feature nakikita ko kasi sa cellphone is yung yung nagmamanual ka ng yung mga color manipulation. Yung pa lang yung nakikita ko. Pero very rare pa lang yung merong cellphone na camera niya ay merong pwede mag-export na isang raw file. Okay? But definitely in DSLR cameras, mas commonly to. Okay? Mas may intindihan nyo siya. Okay? Now, so, lagpasan natin yan. So, this will be the file formats, okay? That will be discussed. Number 1, this is a JPEG file. Okay? Ito yung mga images natin, whether lossy or lossless. Okay? Kasi JPEG is Joy Photographic Expert Group. No? Akala nyo, ano yung JPEG? JPEG, ay baka tinawag lang na JPEG yan. Lahat po sila may graphic, mayroon silang representation. Okay? May acronym. So, that's the JPEG. Now, next naman yung GIF. Now, before kasi, ang GIF, sikat na talaga. Yung GIF, makikita niyo sa internet. Usually, yung mga ads sa internet, yung mga gumagalaw, yung mga banners, yan po ang GIF. At kung nauso pa ang Friendster noon, di ba? Nauso pa Friendster noon na hindi nyo na naabutan, karamihan sa mga sinasend namin ay GIF. Okay? At syempre, kinakopy pa yung HTML doon para mapalabas yung GIF. Pero ngayon kasi, automatically, by the use of image na rin, definitely GIF. But of course, meron na tayo online na gumagawa ng GIF eh. Madali na lang, 'di ba? Pero kung from scratch, we use talaga Adobe Flash. But now it's Adobe Animate, okay? Next naman natin PNG. When you say PNG is portable network graphics, it is yung meron kang layout pero butas siya. Kumbaga, butas yung background. Kumbaga, ang nakuha lang the mismong object itself. So, nakikita niyo yung kay Simpsons dito is a PNG. So, pagka kinuha yan sa Google, yan lang yung makukuha. Walang background. Okay? And ito ay isang vector din dahil napakasimple lang din ng gawa. Okay, lastly naman natin is BMP or bitmap. Okay? Ito yung mga dati. It's most commonly sa mga sa mga icons. Kaya maliit lang siya. Kasi, syempre, alam, icon naman, wala namang icon na malaki. Okay? Usually, maliit lang yung icon. And it's made by bitmap. Okay, let's go to the different. Okay? Let's define each of them. Okay, JPEG. So, Joint Photography Expert Group. So, this is the organization who create this word, okay? JPEG. JPEG uses lossy format. Yun yung sinasabi ko. Pag kuha mo ng picture, automatically lossy na yun. Bakit? Kasi, kung ano yung preference na ginawa natin doon, so, pag kinapture natin, definitely, yun na yung mga capture niya. Yun na yung ma-generate niya or ma-render niya. Kasi na-compress na siya. Okay? So, simply, yung file na yun, medyo maliit. Pero syempre, depende yan sa laki. For example, kung malaki, pa 14 megapixels yung laki, yung ano ng file, definitely, mas malaki yung storage siya papasok doon. Unlike kasi sa raw file, which is lossless, it takes 15, 60, 20 megabytes per file. Kasi hindi pa siya nako-compress. Okay? JPEG is used in websites and digital cameras, such as mobile phones, SLRs. Okay? So, lahat po ng image, definitely will be converted as JPEG. Okay? Kahit yung logo mo na ginawa mong vector, pagka in-export na sa JPEG, definitely magiging JPEG na yan kasi na-compress na siya. Okay. GIF. Ito na yung gumagalaw natin. GIF stands for Graphics Interchange Format. Okay, magigagawa nitong GIF na to. Sabi ko nga kanina, yan yung mga gumagalaw na mga gumagalaw na mga animated. Okay? It uses lossless compression, support 256 colors. So, konti lang. Kaya kung makikita nyo sa internet, di ba parang medyo blurred ng konti. Di ba? Yung sa mga sinisend na GIF sa Messenger, sa Facebook.
Sa Facebook meron din po, di ba?
Yes, sa Facebook. Kasi, very compressed when it comes to colors. Okay? This is idea for images with sharp edges. Kaya makita nyo parang medyo crispy, na parang lutong-luto yung image. Kasi yung color niya, hindi ganun karami. Nakatulad na JPEG, it contains of millions of colors. Okay. Ito, fewer colors as letters and logos. Minsan medyo blurred pa nga yung letter, di ba? GIF also basic animation. Usually, yun lang naman yung ginagawa. Okay? Usually, kapag minsan nga video, gina-convert na nga sa GIF. Pero, syempre, ilang seconds lang dapat yun. Kasi, maliit lang kasi yung GIF. Okay. PNG. Ito na yung sinasabi ko kanina. So, portable network graphics, it is alternative for GIF. Kasi syempre plain lang naman siya. So PNG, lossless din siya. Kumbaga, lossless din siya. Okay? Pero syempre, pag kina-export mo na yan, definitely, magiging lossy na yan kasi na-compress na siya. Okay? So ito yung mga transparent na, yung pag sinerch mo kunyari, okay, Facebook logo PNG. Di ba ganun ginagawa natin? Kasi gusto lang natin that
Yes po.
the itself the logo. Kasi yung background, hindi naman natin kailangan ng background. Okay? So, usually, gumagamit naman tayo ng software dyan. Diba, nag-create tayo ng logo or nag-create tayo ng mga bagay-bagay na gusto mo ito lang. So, it's really PNG. Now, sa module nyo kasi GIMP. So, later on, may video tayo nun. Pero, hahapyawan ko lang kayo ng Photoshop. Kasi karamihan sa mga tao, sasabi, ay, pinotoshop to. Ay, inedit to sa Photoshop. Ay, gusto ko magka-Photoshop. Kasi lahat ng tao gusto matuto ng Photoshop, right? Pero, syempre, based on the module, after nito, GIMP. Okay? GIMP yung tuturo ko. Kasi open source yun. Open source na software yon na pwede mong i-download, na pwede mong gawin. Kasi may commonly naman siya sa Photoshop. Pero kasi, honestly, more on Photoshop ako. So, kasi ito na yung kinagisnan. Pero, hahapayawan ko lang kayo ng konti dito. Pero, kung gusto nyong, kung may ramang kayo na Photoshop dyan, pwede naman. Okay? Mas maganda nga matutuhan nyo to kasi lalo na sa ICT ha, kasi syempre hindi lang pang CSS ang natin, yung mga network configuration, basic parts, dapat may alam din kayo sa designing kahit pa paano. Sa ABM part naman natin, syempre sa business hindi pwedeng, 'di ba? Pag gumawa ka ng isang business, kailangan may logo ka, kailangan may banner ka, kailangan lahat ng materials mo kasi ginagamit mo for business, tama? So, yon mga bagay na yon, 'di ba? They will be used by this application. So let's go to the Photoshop. Now, so Photoshop is a rougher graphics editor developed by Adobe. Okay? This is not Adobe. Adobe system. Okay? Adobe, okay, for OS and Mac OS and Windows. So usually it's Photoshop, raster graphic editor siya. Kung ang ginagamit naman natin ay vector, we can use Adobe Illustrator. Okay? So they have different functions and different purposes. 'Di ba? Parang pagka nag-edit ka ng video, you use Filmora, you use KineMaster. KineMaster pang tawag dito pang mobile. Pero Filmora, it can be by mobile or by computer. But when it comes to computer, when it comes to the professional editing, you can use Adobe Premiere Pro for composition or Adobe After Effects for gusto mo meron kang special effects, visual effects, 'di ba? Pag Adobe Animate pagka gusto mong basic animations, okay? Or Final Cut kung ikaw ay Macintosh user, Mac OS user, 'di ba? Nag-i-edit ka ng images mo. But usually yan po ay ginagamit lahat diyan, even kahit nasa broadcasting ka, lahat po film production, lahat ito yung mga ginagamit. Pero Photoshop, of course, commonly ginagawa ng lahat to. Okay, raster graphics editor. It was in Adobe in 1988. Okay, so malalaman nyo kung sino founder nito. So, binili po ng Adobe itong system na to sa dalawang taong magkapatid na to. So, binili ng Adobe and nire-release by market in 90s. Okay? It was developed by brothers John and Thomas Knoll. They are PhD students of the Harvard, if I'm not mistaken. Okay? So, they created these applications that can manipulate, can edit, diba? That which is na ginagamit natin today. Okay. So, yung Photoshop na yan, okay, so, kahit CS3, di ba? Ngayon, kasi marami na tayong versions nito, di ba? And Adobe, marami pong products yan. So, pwede nyo puntahan yung Adobe na website na yan. Okay, so, before kasi, nagsimula to sa Apple. Ang tawag pa sa kanya, Image Pro. But, dahil syempre, because of the copyright problems, nagpalit sila ng Photoshop. Okay, so, yun lang. Basic trivia lang doon. So, we have different versions. We have CC na kasi tayo. So, Creative Cloud because we are aligning with the cloud environment, which is internet. 'Di ba? Kasi 'di ba nagsisave na tayo sa internet, 'di ba? Tulad ng Google Drive, yung mga productivity natin, yung mga stories, they are putting on the drive para kaysa ka magpunta, ma-access mo through clouds. Okay? So, usually Creative Cloud siya. Okay, so, dati CS6, yung CS5, CS4, yung mga nagagamit natin sa mga printing. But of course, ito na yung pinaka-version natin today as of now. Okay, so, ano ba family ng Photoshop? Kasi marami pamilya, di ba? Mga hindi nakakaala. Akala ko Photoshop, isa lang, sir. Ang Photoshop, marami. Okay? So, di-discuss natin yan. Yan, papalabas ko na lahat yan. Pero may mga iba diyan hindi na existing. So usually Photoshop Extended, so dati ito sa mga CS series kasi. So Photoshop saka Photoshop Extended. Pero sa CC family kasi Photoshop na lang. So may 3D elements na doon, yung mga special features iisa na lang Photoshop. So Photoshop elements, usually mga average users lang for filtering, mga basic lang image manipulation, yan. Photoshop Lightroom, ito naman yung professional, okay, for photography, yung mga photographer, yung mga mahilig mag-edit, Lightroom, okay, gusto nagpapalit from yung green nagiging gray, yung mga ganon. So dito usually pwedeng raw images, pwedeng compressed images kasi pwede niya ayusin yon. Okay, so yung Lightroom meron yan sa cellphone at meron din yan sa desktop. Usually sa desktop kasi may bayad. So sa yung sa mobile libre, pero kung gusto mong may makuha yung mga certain additional features, may bayad. Okay,
yung premium.
Yes, yung premium may bayad po yon, usually monthly, 'di ba? And Photoshop Express naman, parang ganoon din siya sa Lightroom. For mobile, mga basic lang din na pang-edit. Pero kung ikaw medyo gusto mo technical, mas doon ka na sa Lightroom. Kasi mas nakakapag-edit ka pa ng matino na mga images doon. Okay? Yung mga features na gusto mo, nandoon sa Lightroom. May mga preset din, pero mas maganda ikaw yung nag-edit. Unlike kasi sa Express, meron kasi makapag-set up ka pa, pero more on preset siya. Okay? For average users siya. Okay? So, ano ba ginagamit ng Photoshop? Syempre, manipulation. Nag-i-edit tayo ng images, color balance, hue saturation, black and whites, curves, everything. Okay? Image editing. Nag-edit tayo. Ginagawa natin, manipulating and editing, of course. Gumagawa tayo ng banners, gumagawa tayo pang business, gumagawa tayo pang
Mga tarpaulin ba, sir, kasama rin dyan?
yes, sa printing yon. Sa printing side naman yon. Okay? Usually, ito tinuturo to sa mga visual graphic design ng mga tech voc. Okay? Ito yung mga tinuturo din sa students. And sa same time, nung nasa ACLC Pasay pa kami, ito yung tinuro sa amin. Sa visual graphic design, mga Photoshop. Pero syempre, ito ay sneak peek lang din sa inyo kasi is part of the lecture. So, image editing. Ginagamit yan sa printing or digital. Okay. Next, infographic. Ano sinabi natin infographic? Ito yung makikita natin na para pag nakita ko, nandun yung information. Okay? Ginagamit sa mga projects, di ba? Ginagamit sa mga technical na part. Okay? Na mas maintindihan ng mga tao. May mga tables, may mga graphs, may mga shapes. Yan. Now, so we have colors. So, syempre, ang daming kulay, di ba? There are millions of colors. Pero syempre, kailangan natin maintindihan yung primary, secondary, di ba? Yung mga colors. Yan. But give you in digital point of view when it comes to the color modes. Kasi meron tayo dito sa Photoshop. So, both kasi yan sa secondary, primary, na kailangan maintindihan nyo yun. So an additional lecture na yun, pwede nyo sa YouTube panoorin. What is colors? Ano ba ang colors? Okay? Kasi kailangan, pag gumawa tayo ng layout, you are familiar with the colors. Right? Now, ano ba color was sa isang when it comes to the print and digital? So, number 1, RGB. Hindi po ABS-CBN ha? RGB. Okay. RGB is used for the real-life display which is nakikita sa screen. Red, green, and blue. Kahit nasa production ka, usually red, green, blue. Kasi napakatingkad ng kulay. Lalo na kung ang screen mo is AMOLED. Diba? Pagka AMOLED ang cellphone mo, mas mataas yung lumens ng RGB. Definitely, matingkad yung kulay. Okay? Kung IPS ang gamit mo, hindi na RGB pa rin. Lahat naman ng digital naka-RGB. Kumbaga, pagka IPS display yung monitor mo, hindi masyadong crispy yung kulay. Pero, pagka size mo sa sandalan yan, definitely RGB pa rin siya. Okay? Yung kulay niya. Nagkakatalon lang yan sa output ng monitor, ng cellphone. Kaya pagka, di ba sa, example na lang sa LED wall. Di ba? Nakakita lang kayo LED wall, di ba? O, kung nakadaan na kayo ng EDSA, napakaraming LED wall. O kaya dyan na lang sa Laguna. Di ba? May mga LED walls tayo dyan. Makita mo pagka may mga event. Napakatingkad na kulay kasi RGB. Okay? Now, let's go to the CMYK. CYMK pala. CMYK yan ha. Mali lang yung spelling dyan. Okay. CMYK. Cyan, magenta, yellow, and key. Okay? It's used for the printing. Ito, may mga nagkakataon. Sir, bakit ang dilim? 'Di ba? Sa Photoshop kasi baka in RGB mo hindi mo MYK. So, pagka ganun kasi, pagka hindi kunyari sa Photoshop kasi kailangan kung for printing definitely gagawin mo pang CMYK para makita mo kung ano yung output doon. Yun din yung makikita mo output. Kasi nagkakaroon ng pagtatalo dito sa RGB sa kasi pag ginawa mong RGB yung layout, pindutin mo kasi magiging CMYK nga naman, 'di ba? Yung iba lumalabo, yung iba lumilinaw. Okay, so lagi niyo tatandaan yun. Pag ano ba, for printing ba yan or for digital ba yan? Yun. Okay. Okay, next naman natin hexadecimal. Usually sa mga website, ito ang ginagamit. Hex number.
Yes po.
Kasi 'di ba, ginagawa, meron pa nga website yan, sa katutak na website, ito yung mga color palettes, 'di ba? Pero pag may Photoshop ka na, hindi mo na kailangan pumunta ng website. Pumunta ka na lang din sa Photoshop. Kunin mo yung hexadecimal number, yun na ipasok mo sa HTML mo. Okay? So, yun yung original concept niyan. So, ganoon din naman sa Photoshop. Diba? Kung ano yung nakuha mo, makukuha mo yung hexadecimal. And maganda sa Photoshop, kapag nag-edit ka, pwede mo i-eyedropper. Kung ano yung kulay, kunyari, itong, gusto ko malaman yung kulay nito, i-eyedrop mo yun, makukuha mo yung hex value niya. So, magagamit mo na rin yung kulay na yun. Okay? Now, let's go to the image size. Image size, usually we use dimension and resolution. When you say dimension, it's a stated unit of measurement. Pixels, inches, centimeters, points, pikas. Pag resolution naman, yung density ng isang given na dimension. So, whether pixels per inches, pixels per centimeter. So, paano yun, sir? Yung dimension, meron tayong, di ba, pixels, di ba? Pag-usapan natin pixels. Or pag-usapan natin 920 by 1080. Yan yung pinakamataas. It's 2K. Okay? So, ano yung resolution nun? Yung resolution, yung density nun. Per inch. Di ba? Ang pinag-uusapan dyan. Okay? Kumbaga, ito na lang, para mas maintindihan. Inches tayo. Isang A4 size or isang letter size. 8.5 by 11. Gumawa ka ng poster na gano'n. 8.5 by 11. Ngayon, para malalaman yung resolution, pixels per inch ang pinag-uusapan. Yung 8.5 by 11, gusto ko yung resolution ko 300 para mas pag zoom ko siya, mas crispy pa rin siya. So, 300 pixels every inches. So, definitely, yung inches na yon, isang inch na yon, merong 300 pixels. Na-imagine nyo? Parang sa isang cube, pinagsiksikan yung mga tao na 300. Kunyari, ito na lang, para maintindihan yung density. Isang bagon ng MRT, yung isang bagon na lang ha, yung isang train car, di ba? Kunyari 1 inch yon. Yung 1 inch yon, may pinasok kang 300 na tao doon sa train na yon. Ganon yung tinatawag dito na resolution. Na gets? Okay, mukha kayong tulog. Okay. Now, how to get the image size? Ganun lang, multiply mo lang siya by unit of measurement will be multiplied by the resolution. For example, 8.5, ita-times mo lang yun sa 300. So, maintindihan nyo ito pagka nagpo-Photoshop na kayo. Pero, for example, sa images niyo, sa mga kinuha nyo sa mga cellphone nyo, sinave nyo sa computer, punta kayo sa properties, makikita nyo yung dimension doon at makikita nyo yung resolution doon. Doon, maintindihan nyo itong dinidiscuss ko para mas maging klaro. Kaya bakit ang taas ng pagka nag-zoom kayo? Okay. Pero syempre, kapag mababa lang yan, definitely, mababa lang yan. Saka, pag zoom mo pa ng zoom yan, definitely, mag-blurred yan, magpipixelate yan. Kaya diba sa inyo, may nagsisend sa FB, sa Messenger. Usually kasi, kino-compress niya na yung resolution niyan. Syempre, alam niyo naman, ang Facebook, diba? So, may data center tayo. So, may mga some of the picture, pag in-upload mo yan, mako-compress ng konti yan. Syempre, kasi yung storage ng image mo. Kasi sinesave niya sa database eh. Diba? Sa data center natin. Kaya mapapansin nyo, but ano yan? Bakit ang labo naman ng picture natin? Sa cellphone mo, pagkalinaw-linaw. Diba?
Parang pagka sa sir,
Yes,
di ba,
po.
in-upload mo sa Facebook, nag-iiba yung quality niya.
Yes, nag-iiba talaga quality. Nagko-compress siya. Okay? Kumbaga, pinapalit niya ng konti para lang kasi syempre ganito yan guys, para mas maintindihan nyo. Pagka sa layout kasi, usually ginagawa natin 300 pixels per inch. Pag sa website kasi, ang standard lang na pixels per inch is 72. So, ginagawa ng Facebook, kinocompress niya yun para pagka niload yan, mabilis siya ma-load. Okay? Mabilis yung makita yung picture. Kasi kapag mataas yan, definitely, kunyari, ang data mo hindi kaya, mambagal pa ng signal mo, hindi mo basta-basta mababasa yung image. Nagigets? Diba? Kaya kinocompress siya para mabilis yung ma-read yung image. Kasi alam niyo naman dito, data system na naman tayo sa Pilipinas. Diba? Pag wala kang kabit ng internet, umaasa ka sa data. So, yun, internet speaking technicality. Diba? Para makita lahat. Kaya sa internet, pag gumagawa tayo ng images, ang standard natin is 72 pixels per inch. Okay? Pero syempre, pagka pinost yan, pero pwede naman din 300, 400, kinocompress naman yan. Okay? Pero yung iba, kasi depende kasi sa laki, diba? And magbibigay ng standard si Facebook nito. Kunyari, ganitong lang. Kunyari, 2 MB, 3 MB. Pero meron feature din si FB na pwede ka mag-upload ng HD mode. Gusto mo high definition. But definitely, matagal yon. Matagal mag-upload yon. Diba? Depende pa kung data lang ang gamit mo. Ubos ang ubos ang data mo. Diba? Mga ganon. So, medyo technical na yon. So, that's the image size. So, para makita yung image size, yung mga galing sa inyo, i-right click nyo yan. Tapos, properties. Okay. So, may mga ganon tayo issue sa images. Kung gusto mo high, pag sinabi, kailangan ko ng high resolution, kailangan yung mataas, definitely, magpasa ka na through email. Kasi sa email, hindi naman nako-compress yan. Unlike kasi sa Facebook, nako-compress niya. Okay? Or gusto nyo, kung may Viber kayo, pwede nyo i-send sa Viber or any
Sa email din po, sir. Pwede rin po siya mag-send ng photo na hindi nababawasan yung quality ng photo.
yes po, ganon. Sa email, usually ganon. Or sa Google Drive, or send mo lang yung link, ayan, makikita niya na yung image na yun. Usually ganon. So, technically sa image ganito. Sa video naman, so medyo layo lang tayo. So, may mga nagsistream kasi dito. Ang sa resolution, pagdating naman sa video, iba uusapan naman ng resolution. Pag sinabi namang resolution sa video, yan yung 920 by 1080. So, yung density naman ng isang resolution sa video ay tinatawag na video bitrate naman na tinatawag. Saka frames per second. So, yun naman, medyo iba naman yon. Okay, pero dito tayo sa image. Okay? So, at least naintindihan nyo na. Sabi nga na kanina, may nagtanong dito, yung megapixels ng cellphone mo, nakadepende yan sa image size doon sa sa megapixel ng isang phone. So, makikita nyo naman yan. Okay, for example, ang nabili mo ay pang 4K. Okay? Kunyari, 100 megapixels, meron pa lang 4K yan. 4K, pang 4K yung size. Ano na yun? Sobrang taas na yun. Mataas din yung resolution, mataas din yung dimension nun. Okay? So, para mas maitin nyo. Kasi ang sagot niya, image size. Usually, image na makita nyo, by pixels talaga yan. Okay? Now, I'll be discussing to you the GIMP. Okay? Pero syempre, yung Photoshop, kung gusto nyo yung Photoshop, meron naman tayong dyan. Syempre, kung bibili ka ng Photoshop, mahal. Napakamahal po talaga ng Photoshop. Okay? Talagang inaabot tayo ng libo-libo buwan-buwan ng bayad. Actually, hindi yan Photoshop pa lang. Kasi usually, pagka bumili ka ng Adobe product, naka-bundle. Okay? Usually, pero meron naman din pang student. Basta may school ID ka lang, may malaking discount naman. Pero ang kasama naman ng Photoshop, Illustrator, saka Adobe Premiere. Usually ganon. Okay? Syempre, kung may budget ka lang, 'di ba? For license, original, at least makakasiguro ka na ganon. But of course, tignan mo muna yung specific issue ng laptop mo or ng PC mo. Pag hindi kaya, negative talaga 'yan. Okay? Kasi ito, at least 4 GB of RAM kaya na nito. Pero usually yung 4 GB of RAM sa Windows 10 medyo naglalag na rin eh. Usually kapag ikaw
16 GB talaga, sir.
kung avid ka talaga, 8 GB, 16 GB, 32 GB or higher. Usually hanggang 8, 16. Pero minimum 8 GB na nga eh. Pero kasi 4 GB hindi na talaga to kaya. Kaya naman, pero naglalag siya. Lalo na yung mga bagong version, hindi na to kakayanin ng For example, CC 2020-2021, yung version mo, maglalag na to sa Windows 10 mo. Tapos 4 GB pa yung RAM mo. So, check din yung specs. Okay, pag hindi kaya, may GIMP naman tayo. Kaya, yun yung ituturo ko, yung GIMP. Pero, for example, kilala ko to, sila Red, alam ko si Franz, parang gumagamit ng PC. Sino ba yung PC dito na may high-end? Yan, kaya nila yon kasi nakakapag sila. Pero, for example, kahit nga Pentium, kaya to eh. I tried Pentium 4, kaya naman, 4 GB of RAM, Windows 7 nga lang. Pero pag ni Windows 10 mo na, wala na. Iyak na to, okay? Iiyak talaga siya. Pero now, ayan, let's discuss GIMP.
Today, I'll be showing you how to use GIMP, which is an image manipulation program and a great free alternative to Photoshop. In another video, I did a top 5 list of the best free Photoshop alternatives. I'll put a link to that video in the description if you'd like to check that out. GIMP is my personal favorite from that list, but one of those other programs may fit your needs better. This video will be just a basic beginner's guide for new users to get started using GIMP. If you're new to our channel, welcome to TechGumbo. If you'd like to stay up to date with the latest and greatest in technology, make sure to click the subscribe button below this video so you don't miss anything. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get to the GIMP tutorial. To download GIMP, you'll want to go to gimp.org. I will provide a direct link in the description of this video. Once you're here, click on the download button. Now you'll see different options based on your operating system. Here you see one for Windows and one for OS X. If you're a Linux user, GIMP may already come with your particular distro, so check that first before downloading from here. You should choose the option to download directly. If you're familiar with torrents, then downloading via BitTorrent may be best for you. Once you have downloaded and installed, open up GIMP. Once you have GIMP opened up, you should see a layout that looks a lot like this, with the primary window in the center with the toolbox on the left and the layers window on the right. If you don't, select Tools and then find the option that you're missing to add it to your desktop. In the main window here, you have several options which include File, Edit, Select, View, Image, and so on and so forth. In the left pane is your toolbox, which you'll be using quite a bit. It contains the usual suspects, like on how to move an image. Click that. Here's an icon for creating text, the tool for scaling an image, and several others here. In the right pane is the Layers box, which I'll show you how to use later on. Now I'm going to go through some of the basics of using GIMP. If you feel I'm moving too quickly, pause the video to try out what I'm showing you. First, let's open up a new project. So go up here, click on File, and then click New. It's going to ask you for your image size. I'll scale this down a little bit. Let's do 1600 by 900. Under Advanced Options, you actually have several options. Popular one here including Fill Width, which includes foreground color, background color, white, transparency. If you're working with PNG images, you may want to select the transparency option. For this exercise, we'll leave it as background color. And when you're done, click OK. To change the background color, select the Bucket Fill tool from the toolbox, and then go down here and click on Background Foreground Colors option. Select the color you want. You can select from one of the options here if you have them, or you can pick your own color. I actually prefer the off grays. They provide a nice contrast. Once you're done with that, click OK. Position your mouse anywhere on the background and then left click to apply your color. I like to expand the window out a little bit by dragging the lower right corner. This won't change the size of your image though. GIMP works with layers. This works great to not ruin anything you've previously done in your image and to easily come back to a layer to make changes. To create a layer, go to the right pane and select Create a New Layer. Leave the options as they are and click OK. You can create as many layers as you need. With this new layer, let's create some text. So go back to the left pane, the toolbox, select the text tool, go into your image, and just drag out a text bar for you. Go down to the lower part of the text tool right here and select a different color, because I don't think gray on gray is going to work very well. Let's select white. Click OK. And let's increase the size too. 18 is a little small. Let's go over here to size. You can put in a number randomly, or you can use the up-down arrows here to change the font size. And then just type in whatever you want. And if you find that text is a little too small for you, just go back here to the size tool and just up the size a little bit. Now it's a little bit too big for this text box. And you'll see options on here to resize the text box. So just go to the lower left, far right, lower and then upper. For here, let's do the lower. Click and drag it down. If you decide you want to go with something other than white, let's go back to the color window here. Let's do an off blue. When you're done with that, just go back to the layers options here. Click in the white space for background so you can see what you just did without all the lines around it. To move a layer in your image, first let's go back to layers, click in any white space to select that layer. Go back to the toolbox, click on the Move tool, go anywhere in that layer, and then click and drag where you'd like to move that to. Then select the white space in the background layer to get rid of the lines around there. And I don't like where I've moved that. So you could either go up here to Edit, and you can select Undo Move Text Layer. A shortcut key for that is Ctrl+Z. And it moves it back to where you previously had it before you moved it. Now I'm going to show you how to create a rectangle, circle, or oval in your image. So let's go back to Layers. Click on Create a New Layer. Click OK. Go back to the toolbox. You have the options here for a rectangle select tool or the ellipse select tool. Let's do the ellipse. Click in it. Go back to your image. Go outside of it. Let's do upper left-hand corner. Click and drag around your image. If you need to resize it, there's all these yellow boxes surrounding the oval, and you can take those and drag them out if you need to try to make them as perfect as possible. And if you want to fill this space with a different color than gray, go back to the Bucket Fill tool, select a color, and we'll just leave the color as black. Click OK, and click anywhere within the oval right here. And to see this without any of the lines, clicking on the white space in the background doesn't work for this one. So go up here to Select and select None. Now I'm going to show you how to use the Blend tool. So let's go back to the toolbox. Click on Blend tool. And you have different options down here for opacity and which colors you want to use. Several options here. You can click any of those if you want to. I'm going to leave it with this one. Now you can either go from the left to the right, click and drag, and then let go. So let's undo that by hitting Ctrl+Z or going to Edit and selecting Undo. Or let's try it from top to bottom, see how that works. That's a little bit better, so we'll leave it that way. Once you're completely satisfied with your image and you decide that you don't want to make any further changes to the image, you'll want to go up here to File, click on Export As. Do not click on Save or Save As. Click on Export As. Select where you want to save the image to. And of course, name your image. And you have the option down here to select the file type you want to save the image as. You can select it as a JPEG, or PNG is popular, and so on and so forth. And once you're done, click on Export. You have these options here if you want to change those. I usually leave them as they are, and then click on Export. And now the image is saved. Let's say you're not happy with this image. For example, I'm not happy with this image. I would never save this image. But if I wanted to work on it later on and make changes to the different layers, you would go here to File, Save As, name your file, it saves as an XCF, choose where you want to save it to, and then click on Save. The last thing I'm going to show you is how to scale an image. So go up here to File, click on Open, find the file that you would like to scale. So I'll select here the GIMP logo, click Open, and there it is. We'll make this a little bit bigger. To scale the image, go over here back to the toolbox, select the Scale tool, click inside the image. If you'd like to make it smaller, you can put in predetermined numbers here for width and height, or you can select the up and down arrows. Right here you see this lock. Leave it locked so it scales proportionally. We'll make it smaller. Once you're satisfied, click on Scale, and now the image is smaller. If you want to make it bigger than it was, go the opposite way, hit the arrow up, and then click Scale. Be careful doing this. If you make an image bigger than it originally was, it's going to turn out blurry, kind of like this, and that won't look good. So my advice is always to choose a large image and then scale it smaller as need be so it maintains the same resolution as it previously had. GIMP is an awesome tool. In fact, I did the simplistic thumbnail for this video using GIMP. I only scratched the surface of what you can do with this software, but hopefully this gives you a baseline on how to use GIMP. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about GIMP, or if you would like to see me do more detailed project-oriented videos about GIMP. If you haven't done so already, click on that subscribe button below this video for more tutorials and best of tech lists from TechGumbo.
So yon, balik tayo. Ayan. So, na-discuss na yung GIMP, 'di ba? Medyo familiar lang din siya sa Photoshop, pero ayan. Familiar din yung GIMP natin is familiar sa Photoshop. Pwede niyo siya i-download dahil open source naman yung software niya. Pwede niyo siya ma-testing and check na rin ma-check kung kaya ng computer ninyo, kung may mga computers dito. Pero definitely piling ko naman kaya naman nyo. At least para kahit doon na makapagsimula kayo na makapag-edit man lang, 'di ba? Ang mga gusto ninyo. Okay? At least 'yon, very basic lang. Kasi kung magpo-Photoshop tayo, okay lang naman yung mag-Photoshop yung iba kasi discretion nyo naman niya kung saan kayo gustong matuto, okay? Pero usually, syempre in the future, nakatuto din kayo mag-graphic designing using Photoshop. And that's all for today. Our graphic designing natin na lecture.